welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are here, you have almost certainly made it to the playoffs and are more than likely in a battle to either keep moving on for the championship or you've already sealed it, you're ready to go, and you're looking ahead for what you could possibly need to start this week. Hopefully that knocks everybody else out. But before we get to that, Mike, how about them Chargers?
I know, it's exciting. We were, talking just for a second right before we went live, and
You've already sealed it. You're ready.
it's in their hands to win the AFC West, which I feel like no one was really. It was all about Denver all year. Obviously, Kansas City to begin, and then it was like Denver, Denver, Denver. It's like Chargers, like they beat them earlier, and they have a game still against them. Like they keep this close. They just need to slip up once, and that's what's happened. So. Chargers need to take care of business. They got a tough matchup this week against the Texans on Saturday, but they win that game. It's in their hands, so it's fun. It is. It's good to be back. We'll see how long it lasts. They lost another tackle. I think the tackles that are playing now would be like fifth or sixth string at the beginning of the year. So it's like I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. So
I know it's really frustrating losing Salyer, and now we're potentially going to be without Perryman, depending on his appeal, which that's just a whole nother frustrating thing. I completely understand somewhat the DK one, but still, that's 2 games. Yeah. That's massive towards the end of the season. It was really just kind of shaping up like maybe the NFL has a script.
I was kind of thinking about that because we have no Mahomes, no Burrow. The Ravens are real, like they need to win out, and Steelers need to lose out. So like. You know the NFL. Look at the Christmas Day schedule. Like it's a bunch of backup quarterbacks. They are upset. Netflix is like they're like freaking out. And I think NFL playoffs. You want quarterbacks, but I think the NFL is in a good spot. We got a lot of young quarterbacks from this draft class a couple years ago. Daniels, May, Nix, Caleb. And then you mix that with kind of like the Burrows, the Allens, Lamars, and Mahomes. I think the NFL's in a pretty good spot here over the next several years, like of these veteran guys who are not that old really, and then these young guys coming in. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it keeps going around. I keep seeing it on the socials, but one of the things that I'm really I know I shouldn't be, but the fact that the Chargers don't have tackles, which we continue to touch on, but they've lost all of them, more or less. Really, I'm not hopeful for them when it comes to Super Bowl contention. I'm really pulling for Josh Allen and the Bills because I think that's one franchise that really kind of deserves it, and this seems to almost certainly be their opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, I'm always going to root for the Chargers, and I agree. I think the tackle issues, it's going to rear its ugly head. Like, if they're going to be winning, they're going to be winning, like, 17 to 14 games, Like, it's not going to be like yesterday's game and stuff. So, I agree. I want it to be the Bills. This is Josh Allen's, like, if you don't do it this year, Allen, like, when are you going to do it kind of thing, So, yeah, any franchise that hasn't actually won it in their history, which I think would only be the Jags. Well, Chargers, obviously, Jags and Bills. Those are and Texans. So, all on the AFC side. I guess the Panthers, too. Never mind. There's a handful of them.
Everybody. Most of these teams really deserve a shot.
Yeah, right. No, but, Bills, yeah, I agree.
So, it's going to be interesting. It's just, so, that's not what people come here for, but I wanted to touch on it because there are just, all over the place, people are hurt. We talked about all the backups that are coming in. So, with that in mind, and a lot of people out of it, there are going to be some opportunities. So, starting with that. Going into quarterbacks. Oh, before that. Sorry. Just kidding. Heads up, there are 3 games on Christmas and 2 on Saturday. So, 10 teams will have played before Sunday morning. Something to keep in mind.
You could... Well, I was going to say, you could have, like, your fantasy championships wrapped up, but it's... like we talked about, those Christmas Day quarterbacks is tough, so maybe not so much.
Yeah, that's almost half the games, right? Well, no, I guess it's only 5.
But 5 of the 16, but
yeah, still. Almost a third. But all right, sorry, want to get that in there because as well, that's something you need to know. Looking at quarterbacks, Going to the one that we kind of keep bringing up and just keeps performing. I've been very surprised. This week wasn't his best week, not surprising. But it's Tyler Shuck, 14.8% rostered, continues to put up numbers, has a good week. This week again, really kind of showed up. I was surprised that he kept this game interesting. I'm just continually surprised by how well he's playing, and I don't know if it's him or if it's, I'm going to say the name, but I don't want to say the name, Kellen Moore, who's really driving it.
Yeah.
But it's super impressive. And this week he has a really good matchup in the Titans, who also seem to be able to move the ball and have been winning games. We just saw them. Granted, it was a third team quarterback for the Chiefs, but they still ended up winning that game in Arrowhead, which is also just another feat in itself. So really liking it as an option. If you're looking for upside, there is some risk kind of baked into him because it's a Saints and you don't know what the Saints are going to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. You like that, or you have somebody else that you would have at the top of your list over Shuck?
I like Shuck. I mean, I think we brought him up on this show 2-3 weeks ago as more of a deeper guy. Now he's kind of become into like, oh, this is actually a legitimate, even in non-deeper, deeper
QB2, super flex. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he has a chance at the offensive rookie of the year? Because no one's really running away with it. It's like Teteroa, McMillan, and Travion, but then Travion got hurt, so that hurts him. Teteroa, McMillan, or T-Mac is having a good year, but he's not having like a runaway year. And you look at Shuck since taking over, his 17 game pace is like 4,000 yards passing, 17 touchdowns through the air, 5 more on the ground, like 22 total touchdowns. Like those kind of numbers, especially if he's winning a decent amount now. Like I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So I don't know if what the odds are, but
his issue is the fact that they don't have enough wins. I think that's what's really going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Well, and on that same note,
row.
on the other side of the ball, Cam might be another option. He's played the entire year. He granted doesn't have a real strong receiving core. Clearly, they don't have any names that you know of that he's throwing to, and so it would be interesting to kind of see. But as of right now, because of just the downfall of so many players, it's probably going to be Tet.
So I just looked up the odds, and Tyler Shuck's actually second now. I know that's changed for sure because I know it was T-Mac. I think Abuka was up there, but he's just fallen off. Like
with Evans back and Godwin and Jalen, it's brutal.
Yeah, I mean it's Teteroa at -280, and then Tyler Shuck at +350. And again, like the Saints are 4-3 since Tyler Shuck took over as the starter. They win these last couple of games, 6-3. You throw for a decent amount. I don't know. It's interesting. No one would have thought that at all. Like so, it's kind of interesting to think about. So I like the Shuck pick. I mean, I'll throw out Brissett. I mean, these guys that are like 40, high 40s, low 50s rostered. I just assume in most competitive leagues they are rostered, and a lot of that's coming from these just non-competitive leagues that have been kind of like ghosted and stuff. But he is under the 50 threshold. I know he didn't have a great game. Last week, but
it's his first bad game, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's hard to get away from him, and this is like one of the best matchups. But can you trust it after the down game? That's what it really is popping in everybody's mind.
I think I would again against the Bengals. Like, I mean, even Quinn Ewers threw for I know he had a bunch of bad interceptions, but he threw for 280 yards or something. So you can move the ball on the Bengals. Kirk Cousins in deeper leagues. I don't love the matchup though. Is the only problem. He plays the Rams, and he plays the Rams, right? Falcons. For some reason, I thought Cousins was on the Vikings for a second. So
that was 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah. I don't love it. It's tough to. It's definitely for deeper leagues, maybe super flex and stuff. But he looked good. He has weapons. So, I'll throw his name out there too. I mean, there's other guys like Bryce Young. It's just, man, that team, if they could run the ball 50 times, they would. I feel like they did throw the ball 32 times, and Young can move. He's had 20 or more rushing yards in 3 straight games, including a game with 50. So I don't hate Bryce Young either for the Panthers, and I think they got a pretty. They play the Seahawks, so avoid Bryce Young. Forget everything I just said. So yeah, stick with Tyler Shuck is the best option, I think, which is crazy to say that, but I think it's true.
I don't know. It's really close between him and Brissett, honestly, because
Yeah. No, I
Brissett's
agree.
been throwing. This is one again. This is an anomaly so far on the game script and everything else. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Trey McBride wasn't the tight end that did well. It was some.
Michael Wilson didn't even have
Yeah,
a crazy game.
I know. It was Elijah Higgins, which is just it's.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Yeah.
So, but not a great week for quarterbacks.
Yeah, no,
That's for sure.
yeah, I agree. I would do Brissett over Shuck, but I just assuming Brissett's been rostered in these competitive leagues, which if you're listening to this, you're probably in a competitive league. So, but yeah, no, those are definitely the 1 and 2, and kind of really the only options this week.
Well, I guess I didn't even look to see. Another one that I'm he's available. I'm going to bring it up because I don't know if he's playing or not. But if he does play, Marcus Mariota gets the Cowboys. So that's another name I'm throwing out there because if he does play, I mean, we just saw Herbert without an O-line really just light up the Cowboys. So especially if they don't have Quinnen again, again, go after it. I think the opportunities are going to be there. Mariota looked fine. It's just, again, he continues to struggle with just staying healthy like that. All the quarterbacks seem to for that team, or just players in general.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Darnold, maybe we can throw out there. Although the Panthers are kind of sneaky good against quarterbacks. They've kind of been like that for the last couple of years now. And, we kind of wrote it off as just like, it's just a fluke that everyone runs on them. But this year, averaging over the last month, less than 12.5 points per game given up to quarterbacks. And then on the season, it's under 15. So maybe you don't want to roll with Darnold this week. But, he's another one. He's thrown for 250 yards each of the last 3 weeks. He has 5 touchdowns and 2 and 3 touchdowns. He does have a 0 touchdown game, but I'll throw Darnold's name out there as well.
All right, so if you're looking for streamers, it's a very, very short list, unfortunately. But we'll move into running backs. Shouldn't be any surprise. I'm bringing up the name again because I just talked about Mariota versus the Cowboys. Chris Rodriguez, 36.5% rostered, widely available, continues to be the guy. Really like him as an option. And again, if the Cowboys don't have Quinnen, he is set up for another great opportunity. It's just so difficult to get away from him at this point. And he shows up. Like, if he's out there and playing, he's putting in the work. He's likely going to be the one who scores. I know Bill, I think, vultured one this past week, but it's Rodriguez's job. Then the other person I'm going to bring up is actually just going to be Brown's running back because I don't know who's going to be healthy. If Dylan Sampson plays, he's 10.5% rostered. Great option. They'll use him a lot. But on the other side of that, Raheem Sanders, who everybody calls Rocket, right?
Yep.
So, okay, making sure. 0.6% rostered. They get the Steelers. He's the one who's more likely to score. So if you're looking in your standard leagues, that's kind of the guy you're wanting to look at. I think the opportunity is definitely going to be there. But like I said, it is the Steelers. If that's the opportunity, I'm really hoping for Sampson. The other option would be Travion Henderson, which I don't love. Wait. Williams. Henderson?
Travion Williams, yeah.
Okay. I keep mixing.
No,
There's too many now.
I know, right? Yeah. A fun fact about Rocket Sanders, he was the first rookie this year to score a touchdown.
Yeah, for the Chargers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was week 1 or week 2. I can't remember. But another interesting, it's not a fun fact, interesting stat by him. Going into I believe it was the 23 college season, he was looked at as like one of the best running backs in college football and like a potential first-round pick. Now, that was obviously a bit premature because he was coming off, his second year, sophomore year, and then he got hurt, I believe, in 23, and then just kind of had a down year in 24. But there was potential there, and so maybe, I think he's definitely an interesting stash, more for dynasty, but we'll see about this week as well. So
yeah, I mean, he would still be a Charger had the team not already had Hampton and Harris and Hassan and Vidal.
Yeah.
But again, without knowing the injuries that were going to happen, it doesn't surprise me that we cut him and he made his way onto another team and is now getting a chance to potentially start.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, not we should mention it like handcuffs. Unless your guy got hurt, you can probably move on from. There's a couple of them that Algier, Corum. These guys you can actually start if you really need to,
Yeah, Corum
especially
seems
if
to
the
be like
foul.
almost a must start at this point. He's at least flexing for you
Yeah,
more often than not.
yeah, and if the Falcons are going to be in a positive game script, which they shouldn't be against the Rams, so you're probably not starting Algier. If you're not starting Algier, you can kind of cut him. Throw Emmanuel Wilson out there. I mean, Josh Jacobs did. I never really heard. Did he get re-injured? Like he didn't get a carry from like midpoint in the third quarter on. Did he
It
get
said
re-injured or?
they said it was a coaching decision, so it wasn't a head coach; it was an OC. So the whole thing is very, I don't know. I would say he was injured, but they
Yeah.
aren't really saying anything. So I would much rather have Wilson at this point, just in case. Also, if they don't have Love, it also makes sense to have Wilson just in case.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
why take him out and make him run with Willis or whoever?
True. Yeah. So, yeah, you got to have Emmanuel Wilson out there. Michael Carter, we need to mention as well. He gets. We talked about the matchup for the Cardinals against the Bengals. The Bengals are one of the matchups to target in general. Although I think for running backs, they're a little bit more. They're giving up the most points over the course of the season to running backs, but they've been better over the last month. Always have to go back and look. Always double check that when you see like, oh, since the last month, this team has only given up X amount of points to running backs. Go and look who they played because that's always a big factor in that too, in those short sample sizes. But you gotta like the matchup there for Michael Carter. You gotta like the usage. Obviously no Bam Knight there, and Carter had he ran well and he's run well. Basically since coming to the Cardinals and since kind of getting some carries and stuff like that. So he averaged almost 6 yards a carry. He just didn't get a lot of touches, didn't catch his two passes, so it doesn't look great. But he did play over 50% of the snaps, and he has run well and he has a plus matchup. So he might be a sneaky like low end RB2 this week that you could potentially find off the waiver wire. So I'll throw his name out there. Samaje Perine, this is for deeper leagues, but I brought him up maybe last week, maybe a couple weeks ago, but he also just gets like work. He scored a touchdown. He's going to catch a couple of passes. If the game is in a situation where the Bengals are up, you could see Perine, getting some more carries. So in kind of garbage time. So I'll throw him out there for deeper PPR leagues.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring it up because I know you talked about Carter quite a bit, but Amari DeMarcado also is a potential play in any kind of PPR. His usage was another thing that I was kind of watching, and I think it kind of leaned Carter, but man, it was so close that it could easily flip, but given what the week was, and so
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was game script dependent or what of who got the carries in each time. So very curious to see how that ends up going for next week, but a little bit more risk. Yeah, completely agree. All right, before we move on to wide receivers, James Coffey asked, who has the better upside for position points at full PPR? Brian Robinson or Kendrick Bourne? Woof. Man, that's tough.
Brian Robinson?
Yeah, the backup running back for
the 49ers?
Yeah.
I was just double checking.
I wanted. Yeah. Well, he was commander earlier in the year, but
yeah. So I assume he's playing one of these. This must be a pretty a deeper league or something, right?
I'm guessing.
Man, I might just go Kendrick Bourne. I guess.
I think the upside's definitely leaning that way. I was going to try and pull it up real quick, but I'm not seeing.
I mean, Bourne played about 45% of the snaps last week. No Ricky Pearsall this week. He had three targets, 2 catches. That's probably, if he gets 2 catches, he's probably going to outscore Brian Robinson unless the 49ers blow out the Colts or
that is the worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Or CMC gets injured. If you're playing that like card, but like you're basically looking at 7 to 9 carries for Brian Robinson. So I don't know. Maybe it is Brian Robinson. You hope he busts off a big one or something, but he's probably not going to catch the ball. And I don't know. I'd probably just play Bourne, but
Yeah, I mean so when Pearsall got back, it was 0-0-0 pretty much. And his best game is, I mean, granted that was a long time ago, but 24-19. But since then he's been under 7.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting a max of 7, Bourne.
Yeah.
Because it's really Juwan Jennings, Kittle. I mean, they just have too many options, which is brutal, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But at that same point, unless Brian Robinson scores, you're not getting above a 5. So,
Yeah. Did Pearsall didn't play last week, right?
he started, but I don't think he finished. Like, I think that was a game he got injured in.
Okay. I'm gonna see, because that could lead a little bit more to Bourne. So Pearsall did play about 60% of the snaps last week.
Yeah.
So, and then Bourne had an uptick in snaps, um, in last week as well. So you could maybe see Bourne play over 50%, which would definitely lean. I'd lean more towards Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
To start.
That's
Right.
kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, there's definitely, if you're looking, you said upside, so we're going to go with Bourne because I definitely think that is the person who gives you that upside. So
Yeah.
but good luck, James. So out of running backs into wide receivers. Shouldn't be any surprise because guess what? He exploded this week. Parker Washington, 12.4%. Looks like he's finally healthy. When that BTJ is being covered, he's getting use. I actually kind of expect this to continue to happen. They have all the weapons now, and it's scary because this team looks really good, and continue to they've added all these pieces that have really, and just think next year they get Travis Hunter back. So this team is really setting itself up to have a lot of success moving forward, and so I'm very excited. I don't think at this point you can sit Trevor Lawrence, and so I'm taking one of his weapon in Parker Washington.
Yeah. Honestly, like for receivers this week, if you're in the fantasy championship, again, unless you play in deeper leagues, like I don't. Parker Washington's really like one of the only guys I want to be going after because it's like Luther Burden, it was hurt last week and didn't play, but are you really gonna like a championship team gonna be plugging Luther Burden in? I mean, he played well the previous 2 games. If Adunze's out, I don't mind it. So that's the reason why I lean towards wanting to pick up Burden at all in case Adunze does miss. Because then I may start him, but other than that, I probably I'm avoiding that. Adonai Mitchell, I know he's been getting like good usage and stuff like that, but it's like, man, are we really relying on Adonai Mitchell in our fantasy championships with Brady Cook as the quarterback? I don't know, but he has targeted him quite a lot since playing taking over as the quarterback. Cook, it's just you kind of need that big touchdown catch to really make a game for him. Jack Besh, again, this is very deep leagues, but he's coming on a little bit as a rookie that I kind of liked, and he's getting some usage the last 4 weeks. But again, like if you're in the fantasy championship, I don't think you're going after Jack Besh and starting him. So I think it's like Parker Washington and Luther Burden for me are like the 2 guys to target, unless I'm just missing someone on the waiver wire.
There's one right at the line,
guys?
like Watson or Dobbs. But again, that's really
Yeah.
dependent on if they have a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't really want. I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine with Malik if he goes, but with both him and Love potentially not playing, I'm guessing Love's probably not playing. If Malik plays, I'm more willing to go watch him because he's still targeted at a decent rate until he went out. But there's so much risk with it.
I mean, Quentin Johnston's there right under the 50, right? Like he had a big game, and it's always potentially in his bag, but they're playing the Texans.
Yeah,
Jaden
tough
Higgins. Yeah, Jaden Higgins, but he has a tough matchup at the Chargers, Any Steelers guys with Metcalf being suspended, like
Austin.
I don't think so. Yeah, I guess he's the next one.
Was it Austin? Actually, I think was it him or was it the Kevin? Or was that a different team? Kevin? That was also not Austin. That was the Saints. Never mind. For Vele. Sorry, I keep too many Kevins. And then Kyle.
I mean,
for Booty being
really
Kyle Williams is another one.
What? Oh yeah. Kyle Williams, Matt Collins actually might benefit the most. I know. Booty caught the big Kyle Williams caught the big touchdown and stuff. But Mac Hollins was actually, when you look at the games when Booty's missed, actually, this is good. This is good bringing it up because he actually has some games. I think it's 7 for 89, 6 for 106. Yesterday was 7 for 69. Like when Booty's out, Hollins plays a lot more and he gets targeted. He's their down the field threat there, so he could be a kind of a dart throw, Hail Mary type of player there. So, yeah, I don't mind that at all actually. Um, so
Yeah,
it was
and then
someone else I just had.
well, I'm going to throw out a name for tonight because I brought it up and people have picked him up, so he's now over the 50% threshold. But Josh Downs, if he's available, if I would expect him in any games that the Colts have to throw, he's one of favorite targets for Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
We saw it all the last time Rivers played. He was his number one go-to. While I do think Tyler Warren does see a decent uptick, I'm very curious to see how that breaks down tonight. So,
Yeah.
just throwing it out there as another name. Were you able to find
Yeah.
the other name that you're looking at?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. It just kind of left me. I know. I was thinking about the Steelers guys and just like who's producing for them, but it's like Gainwell and Warren and tight ends. It's not really receivers outside of Metcalf. So, actually, I did find it. Thielen. Does Thielen have like a sneaky plus target game? He's come to the Steelers. Rodgers loves his old savvy veterans, and he comes to the Steelers and he gets his third game with the Steelers, has 4 targets for 4 catches, 50 yards. Does he get 3 more targets, a couple more catches? So deeper league. It's crazy we're talking about Adam Thielen in
I know.
2025.
Well, and it's only his third game with him, so
Yeah.
he wanted to go to a different team and might have worked out for him. We'll see how it works out. So,
Yeah.
we'll stop with wide receivers. And James, good luck. Yeah, he has a deep league, so it's a Hail Mary. Happy to provide any insight we could, but not a whole lot on that one, unfortunately. We're really hoping with Pierce All that he gets the boost. But we'll move it to tight ends, because guess what? Name's back. Juwan Johnson, 42.5% rostered. Did find somewhat of a correlation outside of Vele. When Foster Moreau isn't playing, Juwan Johnson gets a bump. That's when he hits his double-digit games. So I think they have already ruled out Foster Moreau for this week. Juwan Johnson, set for double digits. Here we come. So he's my favorite, and it's definitely a target that Shuck continues to find. So big fan of Juwan.
Yeah, that's an interesting correlation there for sure. I mean, you think it wouldn't matter at all, Foster Moreau, right? Like how many catches does Moreau have? But like sometimes stuff like that does matter, So, I mean, we love Juwan Johnson. He's literally been on this like every single week this year, essentially from like week 1. Brenton Strange is another one we talk about. We talked about it with the Jags are playing. Their offense is insane right now, and they're playing as a contender in the AFC. They're in the running, I think, still for the number 1 seed. Things need to kind of fall their way a little bit, but they're in the running, and Brenton Strange is just like kind of Mr. Reliable. If he catches a touchdown, you're gonna be very, very happy. If he doesn't, you're probably gonna be like, okay, my streaming tight end gave me 8 to 10 PPR points, and you're not gonna hate that. And then if he catches the touchdown, it's like, okay, I got 15 or something. So, I'll keep bringing him up for the Jaguars. They're playing the Colts, right? So Colts. I think are kind of middle of the road when it comes to matchups. I don't think they're really a matchup to either target or avoid. So throw him out there. And then AJ Barner. I brought up AJ Barner last week, and it hit in that insane game Thursday night against the Rams. Obviously, a lot of offense in that game. Seahawks were trailing late, so they had to throw the ball a lot. But Barner had 4 for 50 and a touchdown. So I think he's a good player. I think he's a good solid tight end, and he played in 94% of the snaps. And we talk about that a lot. Like when we're streaming these guys, usually one thing they have in common is once you get past kind of the top guy or two, is like these guys that are just playing all the time, and they generally fall into 3 4 catches, 30 to 50 yards, just because they're out there all the time. And so that's what AJ Barner had. So don't mind it again for Barner, and let's see what happens. He gets the Panthers this week. So Panthers again, another team that kind of middle of the pack. So um, they need to. I think they realize this, the Seahawks, but like they need another consistent option outside of JSN. Is it Shaheed? Is it someone like AJ Barner? Is it the running backs? I don't know, but you saw the Rams kind of shut down JSN in the first half, and the Seahawks played poorly. JSN had a good game in the second half, but like these teams in the playoffs, like they need to get that consistent second option. So let's see if they kind of get Barner more involved.
Yeah, I mean they also have Cup, but again, he's just not the player that you're hoping for. It really seems to be Barner, so I'm kind of there with you with this one, but it's tough. Tight end's another tough one for us, unfortunately this week. So hoping that top guy's available for me. I also like Strange, because again we continue to talk about it, but that team is rolling, and so
we should bring up Taysom Hill, and to probably avoid it because that really seemed like last game in New Orleans. Let's get him out off a bit. Like they said that, right? They said they were like literally trying to get this guy touches, and that's why he had an amazing game. I'm not going to trust it for next week. Are you going to trust it?
I mean it will be very dependent on the running back situation again, because that's what he's getting the benefit of is he rushed like 10 times, which also boosted his numbers a little bit, but then he threw a random touchdown, which that also helps, but really trusting something like that is playing with fire. It's
the the one situation in which I may go for it is if I have built a team to where if my tight end gives me just 1 or 2 points, I'm fine because I have studs everywhere. But if my tight end scores, he had 42 rushing yards, 36 receiving yards with 4 catches. So he had, 78 total yards with 4 catches. So that's 12 points there roughly. And then the passing touchdown. It's like, oh, if my tight end gives me 15, 16, 20, I'm going to win the week. That's probably maybe the only situation in which I would trust Taysom Hill. If my team was just stacked and I could live with a couple points from my tight end. You're always playing with fire with that, but you know your team better. But because he is capable of that, and it's also like, hey, it worked. Saints want to kind of go out on a strong note to finish the year, which they have been. So something to think about there. But it's fun. Taysom Hill, I think he's the first player since the Super Bowl era to have 1,000 receiving, rushing, and passing yards. So it's kind of a fun little thing there. Yeah.
yeah, just craziness. But
Yeah.
all right, out of tight ends into defenses, and shouldn't be any surprise, but kind of surprising. The Rams are available, and they play the Falcons. 47.1% rostered. Really continue to like the Rams as a defense overall. They're not going to kill you. They are one of the better matchups. But this seems to be one of my favorites because I think Cousin has had a really good week, which means more likely this week he's going to jump off the cliff and just fall straight down, and nobody's going to be there to catch him, and the Rams are going to take full advantage because they're also wanting to make sure they seal their ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, we've been, talking about the Rams. I'm still surprised that they're under the 50%. Like sometimes, like defenses are just like it's the name value a little bit. Like, oh yeah, this defense is a good defense, right? But it's like the Rams have been legit all year. I mean, NFL wise, they're one of the best defenses. But even in fantasy, they're like, defense number 6. That's with the goose egg this week, by the way. Still the sixth best defense. So, I'm surprised they're under the threshold. I put the Chargers versus the Texans, another team that I think their defense is just good. And I don't know if for fantasy, maybe they're a little bit better for reality than fantasy. But that being said, since the bye week, 8, 12, and 13 points they have scored. The Chargers have. So they get the Texans. I think that could be, I'm not super worried about the Texans offense. The Texans score 16 points or something against the Raiders. So I think that could just be a very kind of a gross defensive game, which is what the the Chargers kind of thrive in. So and how Harbaugh wants to win. So I kind of like the Chargers this week. Kind of looking through, I don't really know. Is there anyone else? Like I was thinking about the Saints again because we always talk about targeting the Titans, but Titans have been better as of late.
I'm going to go with someone that I'm also surprised is this low, but the Jaguars get the Colts. So it's very curious to see how the Colts play tonight, but the Jaguars are another good potential streaming option because talk about a team that's been just playing well. I mean, you just saw what they did to the Broncos, who couldn't do anything, which could be an offensive issue, but this team has been really good, just sound defensively all year. And again, this without Travis Hunter, which is just continuing to impress me.
So if Mariota, if he's out, any love for the Cowboys if they get Quentin Williams back? I know that's like a.
I mean, yeah, because talk about another team that's struggling. Like I'm completely fine especially if they don't have Mariota. At that point, I'm willing to throw out the command or with the Cowboys at that point. But it's still iffy, man.
Yeah, it is. And if Mariota's there, I'm 100% because I think Mariota can put up points, and so I'm 100% not rolling with him. But if he's out, who is it that I'm trying to remember who came in for him now for Mariota. Josh Johnson, that's right. Josh Johnson or Jeff Driscoll don't scare me at all. So I Quentin Williams back playing against Josh Johnson. I'll start the Cowboys on a short week too. It usually favors defenses. So, by the way, I think this is the Cowboys' third time playing on Thursday night.
Dude, I'm just happy that the Chargers playing on a Saturday. We'll actually get to see it. It's going to be a game that's kind of on an island. I'm set for it. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. Could be. And then if they do win, then the Sunday night game is probably Chargers Broncos because that would be for the division, assuming the Broncos win too. I guess even if the Broncos don't win, if the Chargers just win.
Yeah, Chargers have to win.
I know
they could actually win the West, which is crazy to me too.
Yeah, I think there's even a weird outside shot for the number one seed. I think it would have helped if the Ravens won last night, but I think there's kind of a weird because I know they have the conference tiebreaker over the Patriots, but they have the head-to-head against the Jags. They lost that head-to-head. So it's kind of a weird need the Jags to lose one and the Patriots to lose one. And then, And by the way, the Colts play the Jags, I think, next week, or maybe it's in week 18. Phillip Rivers, old Charger, and what if we need him to knock off the Jags for the Chargers to get the number one seed? What kind of story is that? I'm already planning it in my head. It's a long shot, but it's fun to think about. So,
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, with that in mind, this is it. We're done. We will see you in 2026, I guess. But until then, have a good year. Good luck. And remember, as always, to keep up the nonsense. We will see you all next year. Mm-hmm.